Off top, San Francisco's original name was Yerba Buena. Play the music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
Welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show. I'm Domonique Foxworth, joined by Charlie Kravitz. It means good herb, apparently. Internet be telling me stuff sometimes. We are in San Francisco right now, getting ready for the Super Bowl, but we recorded this early so y'all wouldn't miss us too much.
Yep, we are sort of, we'll have our Super Bowl preview from our live show, which you'll get on this feed on Friday morning. But before then, we thought we'd put together a little mailbag. We have submissions from fans of the show, people attached to the show, and a bunch of questions that we might knock out. Some of them are NFL related, some of them are NFL adjacent. And here's the first one. Kevin from McLean, Virginia writes, there's a story going around about Amari Bailey. He's a former McDonald's All-American, a 5-star recruit. He played for UVA. He was the most touted player on Bronny James's high school team. He's played 10 NBA games and now wants to go back to college basketball. What would happen if an NFL player tried to do this near the end of their rookie contract when it's clear they aren't going to get paid and might be out of the league soon? I assume it's a bigger advantage being on an NFL roster and an NFL strength and conditioning program than it is being in the NBA or the G League. But I would love to know what you think about this. At that point, would a player be the front runner for a Heisman? Or should he even be eligible for the awards? And is there a world where NIL deals become more valuable path for players like that than bumming around the NFL at the end of a roster?
So UCLA, I think, is Amari Bailey. I think you might have said UVA.
You played at UCLA.
And it sounds like he's going to come back, and it's hard for them to make an argument for him not to come back because college has accepted other pro athletes back. I was going to say as long as they fit into certain age parameters. But the problem with all of this NCAA stuff is that
James Najee,
and it's soccer, it's rampant in soccer, but I guess the big sports, there have been a number of basketball players. There haven't been any football players yet, to my knowledge. And that's the point I think that Kevin was bringing up, is that you could go back. The problem is the NCAA is afraid to make any rules because they make any rules, or afraid to enforce any rules, because they enforce these rules, they then open themselves up to more legal challenges, which they've been perpetually losing. And so the NCAA badly wants Congress to step in and set some kind of laws, give them some antitrust exemptions, but not make them an employer. And the NCAA could impose some rules if they decided that this was work, which then would open them up to workers' compensation and open up to a bunch of other legal challenges. And eventually the athletes would have to be unionized. So we are in this state of limbo where nothing is actually against the rules. I think we grew up in a world believing that amateurism was a real thing, and you can't play pro and then go amateur. It only existed because the NCAA said it existed. And if the NCAA has no power over the teams, and the teams would not sign players or put players on the floor or on the field that had played professionally, then it held up. Right now, the schools don't seem to respect the NCAA. And the NCAA doesn't have any mechanism to put any teeth into this because they don't want to expose themselves to legal challenges. So if a football player were to do this, yeah, it sounds like it makes sense. Like, you are so much maturity, physical and emotional and mental maturity happens once you get into the pro ranks. I think spending a year in the NFL, I was so much better than like any 1 year leap in college. So yeah, especially for other positions. Like, I played a position that wasn't as like about strength, but like, you get an offensive lineman a year and or 2 years. You're saying like after your rookie deal, 3-4 years, why not go back and get NIL money? Like, yeah, there's no reason why you can't. And it makes me a little uncomfortable because I have to confront the fact that I don't like it, but it's consistent with my generally pro-labor liberal beliefs. Is like, yeah, this amateur nonsense is a farce, but I have to accept that college sports ain't gonna be the same, and it's not getting better. Like, this doesn't make college football better. That happening will not make college football better for me. The fact that that they don't want to treat it like it's actual labor and then institute some real rules, like, that's the problem. But I'm not gonna be happy when some football player tries to do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to make me unhappy. But I'm not going to stand in the way. I'm not going to argue that he shouldn't.
Well, like, what happens if, in theory, like, I'm not saying, like, if, say, Anthony Richardson wanted to go play 2 more years of college football, because he was his redshirt sophomore when he came out. Mm-hmm. Conceivably, he would be awesome. He'd be the Heisman frontrunner on whatever team went to him. And he would, while some of his stuff seems remedial in the NFL, he would presumably be very advanced for the college game now. And what do you do with that? That breaks the sport.
I'll tell you this. I didn't really, like, I got better at watching film when I got to the league. I didn't really learn how to watch film until I got around Ed in Baltimore. And if I had that ability, when I go back and see, like, I can predict college plays with not only like the concepts, like, because college teams, they have limited practice time and they have maybe 2 or 3 professionals on the field at any one time. There are guys who can't handle that level of complexity. So if you watch what people are running, what plays they're running in any 4-week period, they're the same. They might be the same all the way to the end of the year. The tips and clues are the same. So like that alone, like the intelligent experience of understanding how to efficiently watch film is something that you might bring back to college. You put on top of it the grown man's strength and physicality, the maturity, the speed of the game getting slower, like all of that stuff, it changes everything. I do think that it gives you a bit of an advantage. It's not unfair because it's within the rules, but it's not going to be like I think because it's happening in sports that we care less about, including basketball, if it happened in football, it'd be a huge story.
Yeah, and it's just so interesting because, and obviously a quarterback would be the biggest story, but it could be anything. It'd be, and any position. It's just so interesting because it's like, you see some of these NIL valuations of being like $6 million or $8 million for like whatever, like Nico Iamaleava, and
it's like every quarterback in the NFL.
What would they pay for this? And it's like, in theory, there's a number where if the guy's like, I'm not going to get a big deal, I'm going to end up on a backup salary, even that's around $10 million, you might get the same for college and then have another bite at the apple. I mean, I'm sure the guy can't get enter the NFL draft again, but like what happens with his rights? All this stuff is just really interesting about your earning power and your potential in places where you can earn money because of the value of the games.
One of our recent shows, we had a conversation about how the way that college has developed has been perfect for the NFL, and it's kind of really hurt the NBA in a way. This is the first time where you've proposed something or something's been proposed that the NFL wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Like that they would try to step in front of and get in the way of. Everything else that has happened, like the NFL doesn't mind any of this. Like this is all good. Yeah. Anything that encourages players to stay in college longer, to get better, to become more famous, to have a bigger following, to like test all of their abilities, like that helps the NFL. This one, if you're cycling guys back in, that doesn't help. And it'll take more than 1 or 2 guys. It will
helps college football. It doesn't even help college football. It helps the eyeballs to be insane for a couple of weeks. I don't know if it helps college football at all. Actually,
I don't know.
Dumb point.
No, I mean it might. It doesn't hurt college football.
I mean, it just makes it weird and feel illegitimate, and it makes it feel like the sport ceases to exist as we know it. And like I'm not like a traditionalist, but it'd just be bizarre.
Yeah. But the traditionalist, the thing about that is that's gone, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's way gone.
It's way gone. Like they played 16 games this year.
Oregon's in the Big Ten.
Yeah. It's like
Stanford's in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Go back to playing 9 or 10 games and pick 2 teams. They go play for the national championship.
How funny was how excited Yale people were to be like, Indiana's the first team since Yale in 1894.
I didn't know that.
They were like, we went 16-0.
Nice.
So congratulations. During Reconstruction.
That was before the government had to step in to make it so people stopped dying, right? That was the foundation of NCAA, was because football was too violent and they were going to have to end football because too many people were dying as a result of it, especially at the Ivies.
Next question. Ryan from Miami. In a perfect world, how would you fix the Pro Bowl? I can't decide what would be better, an American Gladiator style obstacle course or a 5-on-5 basketball game. In this scenario, we are turning injury sliders off. So what should they do?
It's obvious that it's American Gladiator obstacle course if those are my 2 options. The 5-on-5 basketball game, I think that we might be disappointed.
It would be hilarious.
Because there will be some guys that are obviously great basketball players, but not all football players are great. Not all football players have the athleticism that can translate. Like a lot of football players are really explosive and really strong, but like the the dexterity and the coordination of dribbling and shooting, ain't it?
When I was in college and the football players would come to the regular rec to play basketball.
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
It was just so
physical.
Annoying.
Oh, physical.
I was like, oh, great. This SEC defensive back is getting every rebound and elbowing me and hand checking me. It's like you guys aren't actually good at basketball.
We're better than you.
Kind of.
Y'all didn't win. Did you win?
No, definitely not.
Of course
I was
not.
also just like mentally, just like I can't deal with it.
We're not good basketball players. We're physical though.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah, just doing 360s out of nowhere.
It's
Can't
also
shoot
like
for can't dribble up and down the court. But hey, jump out the gym.
There also wasn't just like a box out. It was like if you're boxing out, you're getting thrown into the stanchion.
Oh yeah. I ran through so many screens. I see that screen right there. I'm running through it.
I mean, it would be fun to watch. See now the way that you're talking about this.
No.
This is like slam ball in real life.
Yeah, but the American Gladiators, I think that American Gladiators was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess now would be American Ninja Warrior is like the new American Gladiator.
But I want them with like the batons hitting each other on like a narrow platform.
True. I see American Ninja Warrior. I think I've just gotten to the age where I don't think I could complete the course.
Really?
About 5 years ago, I think I could complete the course.
I remember when the Levitard show did that, and Charlie, Hume, and Billy went to like a gym before they did it. Obviously, like
so hard, man.
And Charlie's a way better athlete than I am, and he was like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
like the vast majority of this. And I was like, okay, well, nah.
It's upper body strength, man. It's like my youngest would be great at that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, she's incredible. She like does handstands all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got good upper body strength. And I would have crushed it.
You're sort of built for it if you train for it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but not now. I'm too old.
Yeah, I think part of it too is you actually have to practice like the grips, the amount of steps on certain things, which that gets underrated. Anyway, next one, Dan from Connecticut. There's been so much talk about Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow over the last 7 years. But now none of their teams are what you would refer to as serious outfits. Do you think this season is a blip on the radar, or do you think this is a real changing of the guard where it will be considerably less common for them to compete for Super Bowls?
So I think Dan doesn't understand what I mean by serious outfit. Like I think that all except for maybe not the Bills anymore, but like I think they're still a serious outfit. Just because they had bad seasons, they're still serious outfits. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go so far as a turning of the page, though. Mm-hmm. It's funny how fast this has all happened, that these guys have kind of become it's a short period of time, but like they've kind of become the old guys.
Yeah.
Fast as hell, getting injured and fighting through all these injuries and basically feeling like there's like a whole nother class of quarterbacks that's coming up for us to be excited about.
They don't seem as good though yet. Like
they aren't.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, they certainly aren't. But like this was them just like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? 4 years ago, we were like, this is this group. They're going to own the league. And now we're at the point where they are supposed to own the league. And some other quarterbacks have gotten to the promised land before two of those three have gotten there. So yeah, I get it, but I think we're still in their primes. They're going to come back and still be really, really good.
I thought that the phrasing of this was interesting. Considerably less common for them to compete for Super Bowls. The answer to that, I would say, is yes. Oh. Just because when you strengthen the pool of contenders, and if you're saying there is this other crop of it, just by the numbers of it, it's going to be hard to pencil in a Mahomes versus either Lamar or Josh Allen AFC Championship game every single year. That's not to say that one of them might not make a Super Bowl, but considerably less common. The phrasing of that, it felt so fait accompli that two of those three teams are going to play in the AFC Championship every year.
I guess defining that question too is like playing for a championship is, it sounds like you're saying that's like getting to the championship of your division. I mean, of your conference.
Yeah.
Right. I was just thinking like,
good team. Yeah.
If they are competitive, like if I can look at them and see like this is a championship team. So yeah, maybe something will happen along the way, but I think it's more likely than not that, I guess that's the way.
What situation do you think is it would be the most, you have the most faith in of those four? Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. They're all so flawed now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough. Damn, that's a tough question. I guess I would say Mahomes. I don't know. I feel like just because they've done it so many times in so many different ways, I know he's coming off an injury, and I know they're replacing offensive coordinators, and the defense is not as good as it once was. Like, I can see how that would not quite work out. But, like, when I look at the Josh Allen situation, it's like, yeah, they're always going to be good on offense. They kept the offensive coordinator and made him the head coach. But the question is what's going to happen on that defensive side. Terry Pagula doesn't seem like he has the firmest grip on running that organization. Baltimore, I think you have a bunch of faith in them, but they have a first-time head coach, and they're looking at like a future where Lamar has not agreed to an extension just yet, and it doesn't feel that it's all peaches there at the moment. And then Joe Burrow is like a Cincinnati man. It's Cincinnati. Cincinnati man.
Next one, Drew from DC. Simple question here. Which DB is currently your favorite to watch in the NFL?
So Surtain comes to my mind as the best. Patrick Surtain.
He do everything.
Yeah, he's just so big and physical and fast and just really fun, dominant player. But I think watching Witherspoon this year, like I watched
Devin Witherspoon
for the Seahawks. I watched a lot of Seahawks tape, and of course, I like what Rory's doing. But Witherspoon is one of the smaller DBs on this, like, generally pretty big and physical DB unit, and he's the best one. And he's so physical and so impressive, and still covers as well as everyone. I think I would also throw Kamari Lassiter in there. I like watching him more than watching Stingley. Obviously, Stingley was
Stingley was your guy.
I know Stingley was my guy. He still is my guy.
He's an amazing career.
He still is amazing. But like when you're talking about who you want to watch play, like I like watching the way that Lassiter plays. I think Stingley plays a more like small, fast, like a game closer to the one that I would play if I could play that well. And I think that might be why I like watching Lassiter.
Not Stingley.
No, I'm saying Stingley does.
Okay.
Lassiter is like a big physical, like I'm going to use, like that was never me. Like I tried to play physically, but like I wasn't going to like overpower receivers. Lassiter does that routinely and then still runs with them. I like watching him. He's my favorite DB to watch of the Texans. Yeah. And then we already mentioned Eamon Rory's fun, big guy.
So fast for size.
Yeah. If I had to pick one of all these guys, I think I would go with, I'll go with Witherspoon.
I can't wait for you to watch Caleb Downs tape going into the draft. Not even because I think you're going to fall in love with him, but I just want to see what you think about this guy who's had two different college football lives, from Nick Saban to Ohio State, from being in the box to playing deeper, and the instincts of it. Because the comps are crazy. People are like somewhere between Brian Branch and Ed Reed is what someone on The Ringer said.
What I think about him, just given what I know about Ahurdo, and I haven't done the deep tape watch yet, but honestly, it's a broader conversation about how I kind of feel like there's a new position being created, and it reminds me a little bit of how we went from 4-3 defenses to 3-4 defenses, and there was like a new position created of these outside linebackers that were like tweeners between off-the-ball linebackers and defensive ends, and it came to a place that now everybody kind of has like those. That's the prototype for an edge player. I think we're starting to get closer and closer to a point where this nickel position is going to be a permanent starter position, and we're looking for something between a safety, linebacker, cornerback is the body type and the model that we're starting to look for and finding more and more of.
Interesting. Next question. Bob from Boston writes,
Ooh.
Bobby, based on what you saw this NFL season, was there a particular trend that you think could define the league for years to come? It could be a personnel trend, a style of play, or anything that you think has gone undercovered. An example of this is Sean McVay using 13 personnel.
Yeah, the 13 personnel stuff jumps out. That was by necessity, and it became like an advantage for them. I think it's very close to what the 49ers always have wanted to do, which wasn't always 13, but like two backs in general, and use the flexibility to create mismatches. But I think, yeah, you're right. That point that I was just making about this hybrid player works perfectly for that also, where that feels like that's a trend that was born with like the honey badger and has like made its way and developed into like Kyle Hamilton is the perfect example of it. Nick Imamori as an example of it for the Seahawks. But yeah, this new kind of nickel position, and also nickel becoming the new base. I think we're moving in a direction where teams will try to just be a nickel all the time, and they need these special players to do it. The other thing that I think about from a defense perspective is man coverage. Like, it seems like And the funny thing is, we don't have the terminology yet, or the motion tracking data hasn't caught up to the defenses that are being played just yet, because I think we get some things called zone that are actually more like man in zone. And I've just noticed more and more the Seahawks, again, a perfect example of this is like they play kind of a zone, but they latch on to route combinations and play man. And I just think that no one's going to be able to get away. This league has gotten too precise and too accurate. Not going to be able to get away with playing a heavy dose of zone. You're going to have to be able to throw man coverage in there because the quarterbacks are getting too accurate and too good. And even if it's man in the zone, like I see so much more of this like tight coverage as opposed to like just sitting, getting to your landmark and watching the quarterback's eyes and responding off of that. It's so much more eyes on the route combination and then latch on to the receiver and then look back, which opens up running lanes for the quarterback. There's a whole bunch of other like knock-on effects, but these quarterbacks are too accurate and arms are too good to like give them windows. The no look thing has become like a natural thing that quarterbacks do now as like not as a part of their game. So I think that all changes.
So I got distracted for a second. I was Googling and I was wondering like what happens if Isaiah Simmons gets drafted in the NFL now?
Oh yeah, Isaiah Simmons. I was so excited about Isaiah Simmons. I thought he was going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy seeing him wear like number 27. What number did we see him?
I don't know. I mean, he's in the NFL now and he's young enough now to still figure it out. But I think that he was like so big though, right? Like he was
like 6'4", 240.
Yeah. And
you're in sub 4.4 though.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, but the straight line speed is different than when you're that tall. Sometimes that change directions is pretty tough. But I think they're looking for a particular type of athlete. And as explosive as Isaiah Simmons was, like, I don't think that he fit that mold as much as we wanted him to. But I think if he comes up now, I think he obviously is trained to be that guy. Like they're going to see you as this tweener guy.
Yeah.
And that new, like the new modern nickel position where you're like more physical and a little bigger.
Yeah. Next one. This is from Jim from New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
2-part question here. We're getting some good football questions, by the way. These are great.
Good job, guys.
2-part question here. Based on your opinion that organizational stability is the most important factor for predicting success. First question. If we could build a time machine and bring you back to when you were 25 years old and ran a 4.3, which organization would you want to play for? Second question. If you were offered a president or GM job, which organization do you think would set you up most to succeed? And if they're different, what makes an organization better to work for versus play for? I guess you're working for them in both situations, but you get the point.
Yeah. I mean, I think the question about play for is less about organizational stability because your career is just so short and more about the situation. Because I think my point about organizational stability is like over the long run, you'll have a better shot. But right now, I would want to play for the Rams. Like that would be like a team that has a spot that they need help at corner and also has a D-line and an offense to give you the support. Like, and living in LA seems pretty awesome at 25. So yeah, let's be honest. I want to go to LA at 25 and play for the Rams.
I mean, it'd be the biggest difference you could possibly make for their DBs.
Yeah, I would come in and be a hero.
Yeah,
it'd be great. And I don't know, the Steelers jump to mind as a place that feels like the stability is like the support you're going to get. And this is like quarterback or team agnostic. It's like the organization that you would feel most comfortable. I think the Ravens, of course, like both of those teams, might be just because I'm familiar with it, but I'm thinking.
I actually think San Francisco too. I thought that like it was really rough for a while with Shanahan and that administration at the beginning, and we knew he was a really, really good coach in the way that they built it out and let Lynch and Shanahan like have their vision.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I think that it's hard because it has to be over such a long time that you can see that, and not being on the inside of it. There's only a few organizations that pop out to have that type of like long-term stability and track record that you want to be a part of. But I think the 49ers fall into that category also, which also might just be a result of them having a really good coach who has like nepotism. It sucks sometimes, but also helps to have your father be a great head coach in football also.
There's something to that too, where it's like, football's its own language.
Yeah.
And you have all this fluency. Like Kyle Shanahan's probably been watching NFL film and understanding scheme and tape since he was 14 years old. And so that part's That part's totally legitimate. You have a massive advantage, and like the nepotism. It's so with something like that, it's interesting. It's like,
and he's there a lot. Like Mike helps a lot. He's around.
There's the Mike Silver book. They said that he watches practice tape, and he's the one who pointed out Purdy being like, "Don't let him leave the building. If you cut him, you're not going to find another 7th rounder like that." That was like reported that Mike Shanahan was breaking that down, and he immediately knew he was better than Trey Lance.
Yeah.
But it's a fluency, and to me, I mean, some of the football nepotism is obviously insane when you hear like Brick Johnson using Madden ratings to make decisions. But when it's something like, oh, I had a massive advantage of learning scheme and fluency and understanding football and play calling is how you get there to be a precocious young coach. It's an advantage. Yeah, we'd be dumb to say it's not an advantage. He's obviously really talented too, but oh, wow. We actually have a second time machine question. This one's from Bill from Maryland.
Okay.
If you could take any of your teammates and you're taking them in their prime and transport them to the modern NFL in 2026 via a time machine, who do you think would instantly be the most successful? They only have the knowledge and training they had then.
Okay. So I think I'll list the guys who come to mind that people would know. So like Champ Bailey, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, John Lynch, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata. These are all like Hall of Fame level
caliber players,
caliber players that I played with. I played with Jerry Rice too for one training camp. I gotta say that I think it's Champ, honestly, because what you're asking is about like it's not about who was the best. It's about whose game then would translate better to the game today. And I think it comes down to, I mean, I guess Suggs, Ed, and Champ. All I think would be
over Ray, because Ray's a different type of linebacker.
And that's so you said Ray in his prime. I didn't play with Ray in his prime, but the thing is, like, he was so explosive.
So good.
The problem with Ray is linebackers aren't that size anymore.
Yeah.
He may not play linebacker, but I mean, he wasn't, even though he was really big, he wasn't slow.
Yeah.
He was quick enough to do what the linebackers are doing now. They would probably he was like 260. They put him at defensive end.
He was a cube.
Yeah.
He's a power cube.
Yeah. They would put him at defensive end now.
I think when he got drafted, I think he was like 230, which is the crazy part. Let me find his.
Or maybe, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah,
it's like
he
maybe
was 6 foot 230, 6'1.5", 235.
If they put him in this age, in this era, he wouldn't get as big as he got then. He got that big because
35-inch arm, 34.5-inch arms. So he had super long arms.
Yeah, he had super long arms. He's super physical, super talented, and I think that in my brain, he does not remind me of a modern linebacker, but I imagine that if he was in this time, he would find a way. Like,
but that's all. But we're transporting him, so all he knows how to play linebacker at that time.
I think you could put him at defensive end; he'd still be effective. But I guess I would in order just to rule somebody out, I would rule him out because the game is so different now. I would rule him out. We're down to Champ, Ed, Suggs, Ngata. Ngata would be great. Suggs would be great. I would go with Champ just because I think Champ was the best at his prime. I think he was better than anybody else at what they did.
Do you think he's the best corner ever?
I do.
I look at the physical characteristics of it.
He's ridiculous, man.
There's no one in the NFL now who has matching physical characteristics to Champ Bailey with size, speed. I mean, they're 40 times, but like that, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, Champ was running 4.2, and he was like 6 foot and 190, and was the quickest. And I think the thing that was most special about him for me was watching that. We talk about this with athletes. It's like, I'm a high level athlete, so like you show me something, I can normally do it, but there are limits to that. There are things that Champ could do with his body that I couldn't do. Like I just was physically incapable of. My brain would tell my feet to move this way. And the best way I described it to anyone is like it felt like he was like an octopus and that each limb had a different brain and they operated independently. And that was the thing. Like, of course, explosive athleticism, but to be able to move your body, your lower body in sync with the receiver and your upper body do something different it's impossible.
Yes.
It's just.
I saw a big Reddit debate recently about Darrelle Revis's peak season versus Champ's. I think Champ's was 2006, and I can't remember which one Revis's was, 2010 or something. But it was basically.
I just remember
it was after that, maybe 2012 for Revis.
I was the opposite corner of Champ in that 2006 season, and I just remember. I think he got the ball thrown at him like 40 times that whole season and had 8 interceptions. It was something like that. It might have been 80 times. I don't know. It was a ridiculous number of interceptions. He had like 8 or 9 interceptions and was only targeted like a tiny amount of times. It was absurd.
It's so interesting. It feels like, you could drop him in any era of the NFL, and it's like, I see half the field. And he also did it for a really long time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like Revis's peak was amazing. He had obviously a first ballot Hall of Fame career, but it felt like Champ was like the best corner in the NFL from like 1999 to 2008.
He was.
Which is like
he was. No, it was so impressive. Yeah.
All right. The
Surtain is the closest to him.
That makes sense. Well, Surtain's so like complete.
He's so big and strong.
There were a couple like, which game was it in the post? It was the Bills game where was it the Bills game or was it their, I don't know,
Patriots.
The Patriots, where he was just running stride for stride with guys, and it was like he just ran with Mac Hollins, and it was like it almost looked like he was like laughing at him on that default.
That's not fair.
Easy
Mac
work.
Hollins isn't a speed guy.
Yeah.
But he's just as big, it seems like. Anyway, what's next?
Oh, that was he looked so big. Surtain looks so big. Steve from San Francisco writes in, you've talked about being recruited as a wide receiver by Purdue and Drew Brees being your host on your official visit. Do you ever think about an alternate history of if you played offense? And if you're making that decision now with the way football has evolved and speedy yak guys have become even more financially valuable, would you make the same choice?
Yeah, I play DB. Of course, I considered like what would happen if I played receiver and like would things be different, but I don't know. Like things worked out pretty good. I think the thing about defense is like you control the level of physicality most of the time, except for when you get blindsided by Eddie Royal and cough up blood. Otherwise, you control the amount of physicality. Being a receiver, especially a smaller one, which is what I would have been, like it's a different type of game. So like I assume that like the speed would have been fine. I would have gotten better at tracking the ball and catching from, like I assume I would have played professionally. I could be wrong, but like it's hard to argue. Like cornerback is a much more difficult position to play than any other, which means that if you're capable of playing it, you're probably in a better position than most. So like I think no matter what, I would have made the decision, because that was the impetus for the decision I made. Was like I think I could start at corner as a rookie. I mean as a freshman. So I'm gonna go play corner.
Since you would have gotten so many yards your freshman year with Drew Brees last year and played in the Rose Bowl.
That would have been fun.
All right, Blake from Michigan writes in, last year around this time, there was so much talk about Travis Hunter. He had just won the Heisman, and Shohei Ohtani had just won the MVP, and we had questions of if it was possible to be a two-way player in the NFL. Well, a year later, and nothing really went to plan for Travis Hunter. Do you think that we'll ever see another player try to play both ways in the NFL? And what advice would you give Travis Hunter heading into a second season?
Of course, I think we'll get someone who tries it again. I don't know when. It won't be very soon. I assume that the person who tries it is going to do it the traditional way, where it's like you major in one thing and minor in something else. I don't know if we'll get someone who tries to major in both the way that Travis Hunter has tried. That won't be anytime soon because Travis Hunter failed at it and no one else will want to try for a long time until we forget about that. The question for like what he should do next is like, I think the decision's already made for him. I think they're going to lock him in at corner.
Make him a corner.
Yeah. And maybe they'll put in some plays for him. Maybe not, because that offense is fine without him. So like it means that what they traded to get him, when they were arguing they got two players, so it was worth it. That trade kind of looks silly now, but it doesn't matter if they turned out to be successful and have another good season.
You know what's crazy is Parker Washington kind of plays offense the way I thought Travis Hunter might in the NFL.
Yep. So they got him. They got him right there. You're right. And the that's the thing, and that was the hardest part. I was a believer in Travis Hunter, but the hardest part of that whole conversation was what we were saying was either the reason why it hasn't happened before was because other coaches are too dumb and scared, or Travis Hunter is the best athlete ever to enter the league.
Yeah.
And the second one, I wasn't willing to accept.
Yeah.
But the first one,
I kept pitching that to you, being like, what if he's just the best athlete?
It's like, that's hard for me. Like, we just talked about Champ. Like,
Champ. You played against Randy Moss.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Also, yeah, I played against Randy Moss. Like, he's ready. Yeah. He's not the best athlete that the NFL's ever seen. He's a supreme athlete, but I was willing to accept that maybe coaches are too, like, stubborn and conservative, but also football's really hard. So I'm happy for him. All right. I got one for you.
All
right. This question is from Domonique in DC. Does it break your heart that no one refers to you as the vanilla snack anymore?
A little bit.
That was the beginning. It was like a commenter like called you the vanilla snack.
Yeah.
Because before, people only saw your hand from not highly questionable, from debatable. And then when we introduced you, people were like, hey, he's cute. Now no one thinks you're cute.
Got to get back in the gym. Got to start working on it. Get my teeth whitened. Now I'm just that guy who sits next to Domonique. So yeah, hand up, accountability. Got to get back on.
That was nice.
Thanks for the question, Domonique and DC.
That was nice. I thought that you were gonna blame them, but you take responsibility.
Yeah, we're an accountability show.
Oh yeah, I know. I thought so. You're no longer snackable. I thought you were just gonna say that they got bored of it or something, but no, it's on you. Get in the gym.
You gotta get in the gym.
Shave the beard.
Yeah, well, that's definitely before this. We've been very busy.
I got swole this weekend. Just lifting ice out of my driveway.
Dude.
It went from shoveling to just cutting ice into big cubes.
That's what I was
doing.
Then
lifted it up and walking it out into another part of the yard. That's ridiculous.
My neighbor got a bunch of metal shovels from his in-laws who live in Virginia, and DC's been obviously a disaster with it. I texted you. I'll just tell you. It's the worst thing ever. I texted you, call me Balto, because I'm a dog with this ice.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your rapper lines while I'm listening to J. Cole's latest EP. You fit right in.
Are you hip to some sled dog history?
No.
Balto?
Uh-huh.
A tiny bit overrated. He's a little bit of a goal line vulture.
I don't know anything about sled dogs.
So obviously they made the Disney movie about Balto, and he ran the last. He led. They had the last like 60 miles of the
Soul and
Mushing.
Valor.
But Togo did of this 672 mile journey, was the lead mush dog for the 260 most dangerous miles to deliver the medicine to save this village. And Togo didn't get memorialized with the movie, and obviously he's famous and he's a great dog, but no shade to Balto, like he's a goal line back, but like
it's not a workhorse. He's out here vulturing.
And like Togo did all the work to get us there.
We're a Togo show now.
Yeah,
we're pro Togo. All right.
Anyway,
all right. Thank you, Charlie.
There's one more.
Oh, there's one more. Okay.
One more. Sorry, last one. Div from Detroit. You guys love talking about guys who could play a bunch of sports. Who's at the top of your list? Who you could see playing and being dominant in a different sport than what they're professional at now?
This is definitely a Charlie topic. I know that we remember we used to make fun of you how you have lists on your phone for everything. Mm-hmm. This sounds like something you have a list for, but I think about the outliers. So Aaron Judge comes to mind because he's so huge, like offensive tackle. Yeah,
just bulk him up.
Yeah, bulk him up. Let him play off. That's my decision. I mean, I feel like that's my argument for everybody who's big and athletic. If you're really tall, I mean, Aaron Judge. I don't know. Baseball, he can catch. So yeah, he can.
He's got way more hand-eye coordination than any lineman.
Yeah, he
had 60 binks in a season.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's right. I take it back. He could play receiver. Yeah, never mind. Tight end.
Yeah. I think he was a good tight end recruit.
Of course he was. How could he not be?
Yeah. A lot of baseball players get drafted or big recruit. Like Justin Upton was a huge football recruit. I have a couple.
I know you do.
Kyrie Irving. Okay. I think could be incredible at pretty much anything because of the hand-eye coordination mixed with the movement. I know he's not as explosive as like a Derrick Rose or a Russell Westbrook. You could see those guys playing wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like Kyrie Irving, I think if he had dedicated his life to it, could have been like as technical as like Ronaldinho at the soccer ball.
All right, that's crazy talk, but I think he could be a good soccer player. Yeah, I know. At some point we're gonna get to your man.
Yeah, Carlos Alcaraz, who just completed the career Grand Slam. Yeah. I'm not sure if right now he couldn't be a number one corner in the NFL.
I can't disagree with you. Like when I watch him play, man, the athleticism, explosiveness is incredible.
And it's like he's 6 feet tall. He's clearly not bulked for it, but he's so bendy and explosive and the change of direction. It's like he is, Riley Moss, you're lucky that Carlos Alcaraz picked up a tennis racket and was born in Spain, or he'd be Dominique's guy.
All right, here's the question. Here's the variation of that question. If you did not know the sport, you had to choose a random athlete from any sport to participate in a mystery sport, which league would you go to? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like the sport could be baseball, the sport could be basketball, the sport could be football. We're not telling you what it is, but and we're not going to tell you which athlete you get, but you just have to allow us to choose a random player from any sport to represent you and play this sport. So we got basketball, football, baseball, soccer, tennis, hockey,
golf, theoretically. Track and field.
Track. Yeah. See, the thing with track
don't want
athletes is they're like, I've seen track athletes try to play basketball, and like I'm sure some of them can, but by and large, most of track athletes are like a worse version of football athletes. Not worse, but a more extreme version of football athletes where it's just like raw explosiveness, but you throw a ball at them and they like,
I think,
except for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think I'm taking basketball.
Yeah.
And I think tennis is number 2, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Random. So like this doesn't mean that you're going to get the top guys.
Yeah. It's just because they're all so big now. They can run for 4.5 to 5 hours, and they're huge. And we know,
and they got the hand-eye.
You know, they have elite hand-eye coordination. So if you're taking a random guy, there's only 100 professional, true professional tennis players. I know there's 2,000 players in the rankings.
Yeah. So we go with
top 100 makes their draw. Basketball's obvious because it's like they're all big as
and they all are so like I think
they're so athletic.
The combination of basketball players, hand-eye coordination,
speed,
and their
quickness.
size is like I would feel more confident like that they could.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
If you get a shooting guard or a point guard, like they could all play a bunch of sports.
Yeah,
it's weird once you get to like 6'9", 6'10" range, where it's like your stuff is like weird. But those like. Anyone who's
no love for soccer, like those guys. The problem with soccer guys is they're all regular size.
It's also like they have the biggest talent pool.
Yeah,
and so like therefore you'd think to pick from them because it's like all right, the best athletes in the biggest talent pool are now the best in the world.
It doesn't prioritize like the physical outliers that these other sports do.
It's also just like sometimes you see soccer players throw a football and you're like, oh,
it's bad.
This is gross.
They don't.
But that's all Europeans. Football throwing stuff.
Yeah, they don't do it. They don't throw stuff. God bless America. All right, we're done, Charlie. Appreciate you. Shout out to Togo, our favorite dog. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks to all the great producers. Paulville, I love you. We out.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.